we are live.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Valerio and Davide.
Afternoon.
Thanks for joining us for this live streaming. So today it's a good day. We are starting a new series. Oh, Dylan is coming. Excellent. Welcome, Dylan. Can you see us? Hi, Dylan.
Hi.
Hi, Dylan.
How's it going? So we already started. So actually we started like 1 minute ago. So what we're going to do today is we're going to introduce our a new series on a small project that we have been pursuing in the last few weeks. The title of this new series is Build a Smarter OCR. So what we're going to do and what we're going to discover the next 4 to 5 weeks is how to use computer vision and machine learning to make, to implement an app that takes screenshots of a page with text highlighted, as you can see here, and returns the OCR, underlined or highlighted piece of text or paragraph of text. So the challenge, we're going to go through different challenges over the course of 5 different weeks. The first episode is today, and today we're going to learn on how to get a use case and turn it into an AI pipeline. So this is a very important step. It's the first step. So we have a problem, we have a potential solution, and then we have to translate this potential solution into a set of steps that essentially have an input and will provide the desired output. The second episode instead is going to be about creating a labeled dataset. So we're going to see how we can take images in particular and create a generic and also a very complete and thorough dataset that can be then annotated with a manual workforce. Episode 3 is all about training. So we are going to learn how to detect, how to train an lie detector, which is essentially an object detector. Okay, so we're going to use a deep learning approach. We're going to see all the decisions that we have to take to improve, to get the required performance. While in episode 4, we are going to take the trained model and we're going to deploy it, meaning that we're going to put it into the cloud, into a serverless architecture. We're going to define what this means, but this is really the first step that we need to take in order to go towards our clients, toward our users, and then enable them to use our model. Finally, in episode 5, we are going to try to develop an app, a very simple app that will work on iOS first, that will connect to the Lambda function and essentially will enable users to take advantage of our machine learning model. So before they proceed and we dive into episode 1, guys, Valerio, David, and even Dylan, do you have questions or comments? Do you think we should clarify a little bit more what we're going to flesh out, or what we're going to discuss about in the next 5 weeks?
No, I think it's pretty clear. It's going to be something like, in theory, I mean, we won't see any code, right? Here. We
might see some code in episode 3. Okay, episode 2, absolutely no code, and episode 4, yes. I mean, we need to deploy a Lambda in AWS, so there is going to be a little bit of code, but it's going to be non-technical, and we're going to try to keep it as simple as possible. Any other questions, Davide or Dylan?
Yeah, I just want to say that I think these 5 steps are maybe the 5 main steps of every machine learning task that we work on, which we can work basically. So it's a pretty common series of steps. it can be applied to any task.
And yeah, but
No, please go ahead.
no, and maybe I don't know if you are gonna say this. Maybe we should specify more which could be the final user of this kind of application.
Yes.
Okay, I'm fine then.
Okay, Dylan, what do you think? Shall we start or shall we?
Yeah, I was thinking the same as Valerio. Just what would be the like who would benefit from such a process as this?
Yeah, I'm gonna discuss about the users straight away because I have an example and I have here a live demo. So let's jump straight into it.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so to give you a live demo and to explain a little bit more about the potential user, I need to first show you this app that is called, is currently running on my iOS device. This app is called Readwise. This app essentially can ingest highlights a little bit from everywhere. For the ones that are using Twitter, you can save tweets and also threads. You can import emails, as you can see here. So you can sync with emails. You can also sync highlights from podcasts or from other apps, like for instance, Instapaper, your Kindle. And another nice feature of this app is the following. You can also add highlights from a camera. Okay, so here I've got Financial Times, and what I could do is I could take a snapshot, okay? Take a snapshot of this page. All right, so now the highlight is being created. Actually, the image is being uploaded. I'm going to show you here. So the image is being uploaded, and I have the ability now to select the text that I want to OCR. Okay, but as you can see, it's kind of difficult, right? Because multiple lines of text are selected. Actually, I want only this one, so it's a little bit messy. Let's say that I want to select multiple paragraphs. I can't do that. I have to click here, add next, and then go back. So it introduces a lot of friction into my reading workflow. Because at the end of the day, what I would like to do is, as a user, I just would like to, you know, as I used to do in the past, I just would like to read my newspaper and then go through this newspaper, highlight maybe with a little mark on the left or on the right, different paragraphs. And only when I'm finished, okay, only when I'm finished reading, maybe even multiple pages, so maybe even multiple pages, I want to go back, take a snapshot of all these pages where I highlighted, so once after the other. Okay, now I'm opening another one. So I'm taking another. Okay, and I would like an application that essentially, given these two images, this application gives me the OCR text where I put the highlight. Is it clear enough?
Yeah, for me it's clear.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dylan? Is it clear enough for you? You have never heard about these ideas, so it's interesting to me to understand if you got the point that we want.
Yeah, it seems it's crazy seeing what just these apps can do. But
exactly.
yeah.
So in other words, I would like to extract this piece of text, okay, only this piece of text, oops, and this one, okay. And I would like to do this kind of analysis in a fairly automatic way, minimizing the friction of this process. Okay, so who do you think is the user of a service like that? Any ideas, guys?
Who is reading newspapers?
Okay, yeah. What kind of newspaper readers, Dylan and David? Any type of?
Maybe also students.
Okay, students.
Yeah, it'd be great for maybe someone who maybe doesn't have great visual capabilities. So they can translate that and then maybe do some sort of speech to text. We could see some sort of alliance there with people with disabilities.
Okay, yes. And then maybe students, people who needs to be very focused.
Yeah, whoever is taking notes and then want to make them digital.
Okay. Any other ideas on potential users that can benefit from a technology with minimum friction?
Well, someone that maybe is not so keen in technology, so maybe here he has just to draw a symbol and take a picture. That for sure it's easier than taking many pictures, one for each part that you want to highlight.
Okay.
Don't know.
Yeah, I think someone that reads maybe daily newspaper. So
yeah,
I mean, maybe if I read a newspaper just once, I wouldn't use this app. But if I have a subscription to a newspaper, I read the newspaper every day.
Newspapers or magazines, for instance. I came up with this idea because I'm a subscriber of The Economist. Every week I receive The Economist. Every Sunday morning I read The Economist, and guess what? I underline stuff, and I like the experience of having a real newspaper. But I don't like to be on the phone on a Sunday morning highlighting stuff, and then I get stuck on WhatsApp, and then I get stuck on YouTube, whatever. I just want to read my newspaper, and then at the end of my reading session, it could be 30 minutes, an hour, I just take my phone and I take screenshots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the rest, and the algorithm takes care of the rest. Does it make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have identified 3 cohorts of potential users. Actually 4, right? So we have identified the users. We have identified what the problem is for these users. Can we elaborate a little bit more on the problem? Tedious. Can I just say tedious and time consuming and distracting?
Yeah.
To use power apps like Readwise to digitize highlights. So this is the problem that we want to solve in behalf of our users, right? So this is our user base. So what is the solution then? The solution is an algorithm, right?
Yeah, the inputs are the
images.
and with this some symbols. Users, of course, we should teach users to use only certain symbols.
Or a mark. Is it a mark or a symbol, Dylan? This is a mark, lateral mark. What is it? An highlight? What is it?
Yeah,
With
some sort
black.
of markings. Yeah, maybe a trigger or a
Okay. And what is the output? What the algorithm does? for the
Well,
user?
a text file, it creates a text files with all highlighted.
I know I'm much more ambitious than that. You know me, I'm very lazy. So what I would like, I would like a system that, takes as input. Hang on. I'm gonna change my iPad. Okay, so I would like, so let me ask you one question. Dylan, where are you taking notes digitally?
Usually I'd go to maybe Google Docs or the notes on my phone.
And what app are you using on your phone to take notes?
Maybe the Apple Notes app.
Okay. And Davide, what note-taking app are you using?
I don't know, maybe we use Remnote, for example, to
Remnote. Okay.
We use Notion.
Notion, okay. And what about Valerio?
Yeah, Notion, Google Doc, what else?
Just a Notepad.
Yeah, Notepad. The most used, maybe.
Okay, Notepad. So we see that there are many different apps and tools that we're using. Let's see if there is a consensus. Okay, I'm using Notion. Valerio uses Notion and Google Docs, he said.
Yeah,
and Notepad. Davide uses Remnote. I use Remnote and Google Docs. Dylan said, I think Google Docs and Apple Notes, right?
Yes.
And maybe also Notion.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So let's count. We have 3 Google Docs, 3 Notion, 2 Remnote, 1 Apple Note, 1 Notepad. So if we had to prioritize an output or a destination for the results of our analysis, it would be Google Docs or Notion. Okay.
Yeah,
Makes sense?
I think that if you just output a text file, every program would be able to read it.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, okay, the output is going to be, let's say that it's going to be Notion or Google Docs. Let's keep it simple. So whatever we do, the highlights will be reflown either there or in Notion. So how do we do this? Okay, well, we'll have to use an infrastructure, a no-code infrastructure, to take the output of our model. Okay, so this is the model.
Receive the image from your phone.
Yes, receive the image from my phone. So this is my phone. Okay. And then if this is the input, this is the output, and the objective of the next 5 weeks is to develop this architecture, right? Because we already have a phone, we already have, you know, Notion and Google Docs configured. So in principle, the bulk of the work is here, right?
Yeah.
And can you tell me a little bit more, Valeria and Davide, if you want? So this is going to be a cloud architecture, right? So everything will be developed in the cloud,
Yeah.
or not?
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you have any suggestions to implement, to connect the model to our outputs with a no-code platform? Do you have any ideas on the platform that we could use here?
Maybe Zapier.
Okay, Zapier, for the ones who are watching, those who don't know what Zapier is, we invite you to check them out. It's a great platform. It's a no-code platform. It enables you to connect bits and pieces. And what about the cloud infrastructure? Dylan, what do you think? What are we going to use as a cloud provider? Where we're going to deploy?
Well, AWS probably would provide that service for us.
Exactly. And to be a little bit more specific, Davide, what do you think is the technology within AWS that we're going to use to deploy the model?
Yeah, I think that the model is going to be pretty light. So
yes,
I think that just an AWS Lambda architecture would be enough to deploy the model in the cloud.
Okay, so we're going to have a Lambda function here where the model is deployed. And any iPhone user among you guys, or it's only me?
Yeah, I'm using it.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
But I don't like it.
Okay. So what do you think we could use to quickly connect the iPhone to a Lambda? You know, to implement a very quick app or shortcut that sends images to a Lambda function. I already said too much.
I don't know very well the iOS system, to be honest.
You can send like a GET request to the phone, or?
Yeah. Let's say that we can just send. We just want to send a GET request.
But we can do it with whatever phone. Why you specify the iPhone?
Because I am an iPhone user.
Okay. I think you
and
can.
I want to develop this for myself first.
Okay.
So I'm the first user.
Yeah, I think that with the REST calls, you can run REST calls on whatever device, more or less.
My suggestion would be keep it simple. Okay, keep it simple, and keeping it simple means that we can use or reuse what's already available there. Do you know an app called the Shortcuts?
Nope. Yeah, more or less.
Okay, let me give you a quick demo. So this is an app that enables you to create no-code workflows on iOS. For instance, I could play music. I could schedule calendars. I could send messages to my wife, and you know, I could enable these shortcuts. Sorry, I could trigger these shortcuts using essentially. Let me see. Yes, I could use location. For instance, when I'm arriving at home, okay, when I'm arriving at home, I want to call my wife, okay? So we can also in here create GET requests and pull whatever webhook we want. So without getting too much into the details, you know, we're all engineers. Actually, Dylan is not an engineer. Thank God.
I think that the first thing to do would be to store the image somewhere with a public link, and then send the public link through the GET request.
Okay, I don't want to no spoiler alert, because I already developed all this in automation, so I don't want to tell you too much, because this is going to be fleshed out in I think episode 4. But the idea here is to onboard the images directly into the cloud. So you take a screenshot, you reduce the size of the image, and then you upload it directly into the cloud, into the Lambda model. So this is the whole architecture. Okay. So how do we now translate this architecture into a pipeline? So let's think in terms of input output. Okay. We said that input, what is the input?
The picture with the mark.
The picture is an image and marks in image. And the output, Davide or Dylan?
Just a list of text strings.
Yeah, text in Notion or in a Google Docs. All right. This is the input, this is the output. And what is the task that we are solving from an engineering perspective? From a machine learning perspective. So what is the problem what is the machine learning problem that we're solving?
Well, I think there are some problems. Like the first is mark detection.
Mark detection. So we have to locate the mark in the page. Detection means what? Localization. Yeah, localize the mark in the page. Then, yeah, go ahead, David or Dylan.
Yeah, you have to understand the layout of the page.
Yes. Be more specific.
So yeah, for example, in this image, we can see 2 columns. You should try to detect this division of the text.
Okay. So for instance, what you're saying is, in here, I have these 2 columns. So I want to be able to localize these 2 columns, right?
Yeah.
So we would expect to find these bounding boxes around 1, 2, maybe 3, and 4, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and then?
And then once that you detected the mark, you can crop out the text related to a specific mark.
Region. And by cropping region, you really mean, by that to restrict the focus of the detector to only the text that was highlighted, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And once you've done this, what's the next step or the final step?
You can
You
can run an OCR to extract the text from the image.
Excellent. And then from a machine learning perspective, is there anything else that we have to do, or?
Yeah, maybe you can try to detect the sentence. For example, you can see that in the bottom left paragraph that you marked in this image, there are 3 words that this is just the end of a sentence before. So maybe you could try to delete.
Get rid
part.
of this part.
Yeah.
Yes. Fine tune.
Yeah.
And maybe for premium users, you classify. I mean, you assign a label to each paragraph. And by label, I mean
Yeah, like, title.
Yeah, title, or I don't know, the context of the content of the paragraph.
What you're saying is that we could, for instance, detect sentiment, detect named entities. We could do whatever we want in terms of natural language processing, right?
Yeah.
Dylan, do you want to say something?
No, I think it's out of my ballpark. I'm just listening and learning, hopefully.
Okay, great. Okay, so from a machine learning perspective, we have defined the 6 steps. So what we need to do next is to create a pipeline. Actually, this is already the pipeline. We need to implement the pipeline in its simplest form. So what the machine learning pipeline in the simplest form look like? Any ideas?
We have to create a data set.
Okay, so we create a data set. Then
we have to annotate it.
Okay, then
we have to train the model, evaluate performances of the model.
Okay.
Deploy the model.
Machine learning only. And once we have evaluated, that's it, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, see, yeah.
And by the way, let's have a look. What technology do we use? So we need a mark detector. We said mark detector. Then we need a paragraph paragraph detector or layout.
Yeah, an OCR.
OCR.
And then some NLP models.
NLP. Okay, awesome. Now, are we implementing everything on our own from scratch?
No.
Okay, which one do you want to implement and which one do you want to pick off the shelf?
Well, I think OCR and NLP, we could take them off the shelf. What do you think, Da?
Yeah, I think even the layout detection is something that we can take from Google API, for example.
And by off the shelf, what do you mean, Davide? So if you had to explain to Dylan, what does it mean off the shelf versus implement from scratch? So what do you mean by taking a layout detector off the shelf in practice?
Is this like a set machine learning black box rather than going through the development process and doing it all yourself?
Yeah, so Davide, which layout detector would you use, or what OCR would you use?
Yeah, for example, there is a good layout detector on the Google APIs. So
okay.
And for OCR, we could use, I don't remember the name.
Tesseract.
Yeah, Tesseract.
And then NLP?
The one by Elon Musk, the
OpenAI.
Yeah.
But I mean, OpenAI is much more than an NLP API. It's a generative, it's a generative model. I mean, GPT-3 and GPT-J, I mean, they can be used in in many different ways. Here, we just need a barebone NLP
Look, I think that
Features.
Dylan has to leave. Maybe we can. say
Okay,
goodbye.
I think we are gonna 1 minute, Dylan, and we're done. So let's say that we're using Google API here. Okay, so let's wrap up this episode and let's wrap up this episode very quickly. So what we did today was to essentially look at this problem. We look at the potential users. We sketch the solution. Okay, and then more importantly, we defined what are the building blocks that we are going to use off the shelf, and what are the building blocks that we're going to implement from scratch. Now, next episode, we are going to deep dive into the labeled data set. So we're gonna learn together how to take a bunch of images, define a protocol for annotation, and then harvest labels. In the interest of time, I would like to close this first episode here. Do you have, guys, any final remarks? I know it's Friday. We all want to go and start our.
Yeah, I think that maybe we can, keep track of the possible cost of this application. So
Yes.
I think this is something that will be available free or maybe on a freemium basis. So we should always, take care of that.
Okay, excellent. Guys, thanks a lot. Have a great weekend. And everybody, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.